Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's episode of Intuitive Angling. And man, I really want to let you guys know, I appreciate y'all taking some time out of your day to watch the video and spend some time with me on the channel here. And guys, today I got some new information I want to share with you all on the saga of Table Rock Lake, the deterioration of the fishing at Table Rock Lake. Table Rock's one of the most famous bass fisheries in the country. You guys have heard me talk about it a lot in terms of the last couple of years. I've talked about how the quality of fishing and everything at Table Rock Lake has deteriorated dramatically over the past 30 or 40 years. And anyway, guys, I actually had a chance. I was at a birthday party today with one of the anglers that this angler's probably won more bass tournaments on Table Rock Lake than any angler that's fished the lake. He's fished it since the mid-1960s, used to spend 350 days a year on it, and I had a long talk about it. And guys, he gave me some interesting information that I want to share with you guys in today's episode. Also, guys, before we get started, just a quick thank you to everybody before we get going. Just wanted to thank everybody for the support of Intuitive Angling. Thank you guys very much for subscribing to the channel, using all my channel links that I put in the descriptions, calling me up or, sending me messages, inquiring about my on-the-water lessons through Facebook. Thank you very much for supporting Intuitive Angling. Big thank you for me and my family there. Okay, guys, if you fish Table Rock Lake, and if you have fished Table Rock Lake for any time at all, you've heard of an angler named Dick Collier. Dick Collier has probably won more bass tournaments on Table Rock Lake than any angler there are, period. When I first met Dick back in the late 70s when I was in high school, and he was a legend, him and his buddy partners on Table Rock Lake. They won everything. And this went on up until like the mid-90s. He was just the most dominant force on the lake. And he was one of the fathers of deep water fishing. He was fishing for deep suspended bass, back in the late 70s and early 80s, winning tournaments like fishing flutter spoons 30 foot deep over 60 when nobody was doing it. I mean, this dude, way ahead of his time. And Dick right now, he's 79 years old. I was at a birthday party today with Elliot. His grandson and Elliot, they go to school today. So I had a chance to, see Dick for the first time in years. And we got talking about Table Rock Lake, since we both love it. We both live here in Springfield, Missouri. And Dick actually lived on the lake for like 20 years. But anyway, we were talking about, it came up about how Table Rock is just a shadow of the fishery it used to be. And his theory on the thing, there's a couple different things on there, but his theory was not really a theory, but he was adamant about this. Just like what I talked about, guys, a lot of it has to do with the deterioration of the water quality in terms of the overdevelopment of the lake. Now, if you guys have been on Table Rock Lake or fished it, very many years, it used to be a completely pristine remote lake. There wasn't any development on it. It was just Ozark Mountains everywhere. And now it's been taken over by these developers, for lack of a better word, that they have no integrity whatsoever other than making money in terms of the environmental impact that they're having to the lake. They came in there, bulldozed down the hillsides. It's like if you go to Table Rock now, you can't even fish out there without hearing a bulldozer ripping down trees off the hillsides out there. And this overdevelopment and the fertilization of the lawns, that when they come in there and start planting lawns, all the phosphorus, all the different type of chemicals that come from the fertilizers running down off into the lake. And Dick was making a point. He goes, I have never seen like this foam on the water before. He said this foam coming from, whatever the runoffs they have, and not only just the runoffs from the residential development, but it's all the turkey plants, like Tyson's Foods. They have turkey and chicken plants. They have been pumping crap into the White River forever, and they don't get anything but a slap on the wrist because they're this multi-billion-dollar corporation. So they have been polluting the White River forever. The combination of this pollution from the turkey plants, the chicken plants, other point source pollution, runoffs from overdevelopment, it has deteriorated the water quality in the lake. And the effects of that, it affects the entire ecosystem, the entire food chain. And Dick was telling me that in his opinion, that is the reason that deterioration of the water quality and the disruption in the food chain along with Dick also mentioned, effects from man-made climate change. This is coming from somebody that's 79 years old. He said that's a big factor too. All this is added up in correlation with the forward-facing sonar and the extreme fishing pressure. Too many bass tournaments on Table Rock has made it a shadow of its former self. Now, every time I do a video on this, I always get, there's a bunch of armchair dudes out there that have no clue what they're talking about. They're not as smart as what they think they are about bass fishing. And they say, oh, Grandpa, you just haven't kept up with the times. You're still trying to catch fish like you did 40 years ago. You guys don't know what you're talking about. This is from somebody that knows more about this lake than anyone will ever know, as far as Dick Collier does. Now, when you have somebody like that I respect as a talented angler and somebody that has been very aware, the lake has been a big part of his life, his whole life. He used to run a Ranger boat dealership, down by the lake down there. This dude knows Table Rock better than anyone. And he was reaffirming what I've been trying to preach on this channel for the last 2 or 3 years, that Table Rock needs to have some type of oversight on it. What do you do on this? First of all, the Chamber of Commerce and all this type of stuff, nobody has any type of oversight on this development that's going down there. If a developer wants to buy at $500 a hillside on Table Rock Lake, it's just they get a rubber stamp on doing it. It's like there's no environmental impact studies, nothing like that. They just let development go rampant. They slap polluters on the hands. Tyson's food has been slapped on the hand by fines for decades. Nobody will shut them down. The water quality and the water visibility on the entire White River chain has been degraded. Table Rock Lake, back up until about the early 90s, it was consistently twice as clear as it is right now. So when you talk about an ecosystem that has lost 50% of its visibility in the water, just with the advent of all this development and climate change and, all the pollution that goes into it, something has got to be done with it. And it's like most people are too apathetic. They got other things going on. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to file lawsuits. They don't want to make waves. And in the meantime, our fisheries continue to be degraded. So I just want to let you guys know that it's like just whatever you can do is the best thing. The only way that you can affect change in this country is through political legislation. Nothing else works. It's been obvious that most of the private sector businesses do not have the discipline to do the right thing environmentally. You have to rely on environmental legislation that's passed politically to force these people to do the right thing, because they're not going to do it on their own. So write your congressmen, your senators, state representatives, whatever. Let them know your concerns. Make some phone calls with that. Vote people out that don't have environmental, awareness as far as our lakes and rivers as the number one priority. Vote people out that side with the polluters and not with the outdoorsmen. That's the only way we can affect change here. So anyway, guys, hope you're well. We'll talk later.